You did say, of course, that the industry is going through a crisis. Is that now because it's so expensive to make the films, and you're talking about 3 days, 4 days in the movie theaters? What's actually happening behind the storytelling?
There's a
putting this
lot. I think
together?
the audience's tastes have like become very definitive. They want a certain kind of cinema, and if you want to do a certain number, then your film has to and I'll say this technically, your film has to perform at A centers, B centers, and C centers. Just multiplexes alone will not suffice. Then simultaneously, the cost of filmmaking has increased. There has been inflation there. Then the star remunerations, and there are about 10 viable actors in Hindi cinema, and then they're all asking for the sun, moon, and earth. Then you're paying them, then you're paying the film, then you're marketing it, you're putting that expenditure. Then your film doesn't do the number. Those movie stars that are asking for 35 crores are opening to 3.5 crores. How is that math working? And then how do you kind of manage all this? And yet you have to keep making movies and creating content because you also have to feed, your organization.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of drama, and and the syntax of our cinema has not found its feet. Hindi cinema, each decade has had a certain kind of syntax. And right now we're like, oh, if Jawan and Pathan worked, should we only do action? And then everybody's running that. Then suddenly a love story works, and like, oh, love story's made a comeback. Like, I feel like we're running around like headless chickens.
Yeah.
And conviction has taken a complete beating, and it's all about like herd mentality. And we haven't realized that there is a certain audience now that wants rooted Indian cinema, and without like the pressure of what the critics have to say. They just want pure joy, but they also don't want alienating cinema, where you talk about just the urban syntax and you alienate the tier 2 cities and the plexes in smaller towns, and then you don't do that massive business. You can make that urban cinema, but then it has to be made at a certain price. Then I find all the Hindi film directors of our times have grown up on the fodder of a certain kind of cinema. They don't understand the need of heartland India. They don't know it.
Yeah.
They don't, because they never watched those movies in the cinema halls. They've grown up on internet content, and everything is aspirational Hollywood or world cinema. But some of those movies just don't work in India. You have to know that you can make what film you want, because films don't fail, budgets do. And that's integral. That there's so much that we have to teach. And the other day in my organization, I actually called 150 members of the office and assistant directors, writers, just to give them the academics of our movies. Just the breakdown about what a budget is, what the cost of capital is, what the cost of marketing a film is, and what your recoveries are.
Yeah.
Average theatrical is this, overseas is this, international, music, digital, satellite, all the breakdowns. I feel people don't know the basic, like the rule book of like what movie. Everyone has visions.
Yeah.
Every director
Of
comes with like
grandeur,
a certain belief, like I want to change the world with my film, but make it at a cost. You can't be deluded.